I may not have been a teen idol, but at least I'm a ghost VTuber. Let's just go straight into funworld. Today, oh, right. Oh, as always, while we're waiting for Minecraft to load, which takes too long, we've talked about this. Why don't you subscribe? Yeah, today I want to talk about something I did yesterday, which was going to a concert. I'm actually a little bit. I've been reading this book, The Beekeeper of Aleppo. It's about Syrian refugees. It's a bit of a downer. I think you can. It's fair to say that it's good so far, but it's a bit of a downer. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be my cheery self that I am usually known to be today. We'll see. But what I want to talk about is I went to a concert. I went to a concert by an idol group. The reason I went, it's not really my kind of music, but the reason I went is because our friend is in that idol group and we wanted to support her. And it was very interesting. I really enjoyed the experience. It was nice seeing her perform. But I want to also collect a couple of my thoughts on it. So if you don't know, although you might know a lot more about it than me, especially if you're like into anime, because it is a pretty popular aspect of, like, I guess, subculture within Japan, and it does feature in animes. I think recently a very popular anime about idol culture and, well, obviously also other stuff. I didn't watch it. It's called Oshinoko, and I think it's about a teenage idol, and bad things happen, and there's some magic too, I think, or at least some reincarnation things. Maybe I'll watch it sometime. And it became, in Japanese they say wadai. I guess, I don't know if the young people say that, but it became a topic of conversation. Yeah, idol culture is. Oh, look, this chicken is chasing this pig. Oh no, now it's chasing me. Sorry. Ah, you're pretty cute. You'd like to be friends. Can I give you this? I can. Oh, did you see that? It loves me. It loves me. Look at it. Following me, and it loves me. Oh my god, I didn't know that. Can I feed others too? You follow. You're my little duck now. Even though you're a chicken, you're my little duck. I give you food too. I cannot. Hello. What can I do with this chicken now? I love you too. Oh, you God, look at it. Look. I can give it more and more. Oh, that's so good. Okay, that's a bit of a tangent. But it's the kind of content we want. That's the kind of content we love. The bunnies never loved me, but the chicken does. Where was I? Yeah, so our friend is an idol, and she performed, and we also have a bunch of other idols in our friendship group, I would say, or as acquaintances, or also as friends. You know, maybe we can talk about that distinction at some point. But what it is kind of like a... so a lot of the time it's like girl groups. I think it's mostly girl groups. I don't know if there are... Let me think. There probably are boy groups too. I don't know if you then would call them idols. That's why you come to me for, like, you know, the real information on all of this. But yeah, so usually it's like girl groups. I would say, like, you know, 4 or 5 different girls who perform music usually. And what makes it different? It's quite commercial, really. I mean, I think like music is often obviously very commercial, but it's like very much based on a parasocial relationship. You're like these girls are marketed in like as approachable. You can meet them and things like that. That's kind of the one difference. Um, I feel like I'm probably like um missing the complete defining factor where, like, if someone is like really into idol culture, it's like, you idiot, you absolute rube, you moron, this is what defines idol culture. And I don't know it, but to me it's that kind of feeling that I said. Either way, so the way, well, where we went to Spotify o East, um because that's where the concert was. It's just really nice venue. I quite like it. I've seen multiple shows there, and I will see another show later this year as well. Shows with music that I'm more into. Mm, So by choice. I saw Fontaine's DC there. They were so good. Oh my god, like, man. And it's I think, like, compared to England, you wouldn't really get to see them in such a small venue. Not it's not small. It's just, small by what kind of venues they could pull in England, or maybe a lot of places in Europe. I don't know. I don't know how they're doing in America, but yeah, they were really good. You should check them out if you don't know them. And what do I want to say? Oh yeah, another tangent, because we're on tangents right now. I was listening to this podcast who made like kind of a similar point of what I was just saying about the Fontaine's DC, because this guy is a Japanese guy. It's a Japanese podcast, really interesting. It's called Rebuild FM. It's good for practice if you're at that level. They talk about technology, like Apple adjacent stuff, that kind of thing. Also media and things like that. It's good. But he was talking about how he went to England and he saw Perfume. Perfume is a very, very popular girl band here. They're good too. I like them. And he's saying it was like, I guess, like 5,000 people, maybe something like that. And he's like, in Japan, you would never, like, they go to stadiums, and so it was much smaller venue, much more intimate than he had seen before. He was able to see. And that's kind of the thing here in Japan too. Like, sometimes bands will come here that would be much bigger somewhere else, and you can get like a smaller venue, which I think I prefer. I definitely like a bit of. I don't like it when it's too many people in a concert. It's just something, like, something's off, kind of, and for what I like about um concerts. It's much more about like the crowd then, and like the feeling um of togetherness, I guess, and being like in the moment, I guess, letting yourself go, something like that. But yeah, and that's kind of also how I felt about the concert yesterday, where I think like music didn't really take the center stage for it. There was obviously music there where they performed with a band as well, but I think it was much more about people having these emotions towards the singers, and the music kind of facilitated that, rather than the music in an abstract sense being what uh, people connected with. Let's see. So a bit more about idol culture. Like, I think a lot of times we know about like the negatives of it. Like, the girls are not allowed to have boyfriends. They have to be very specifically behave in public. Like, a while ago, there was a famous thing where one idol like shaved her head because I think she was caught having a boyfriend or something like that, and that became like a big thing. And this is not like standard all Japanese culture. This is a subculture. Oh, look, lightning. Oh, look, fire and lightning. Ooh, man, we have a distracted episode today, but that's so cool. I want to see the fire. That is so cool. Oh, it's gone. And now I'm being zombied. All right, let's run away. But that goes back like really far in the past too. Like there's a famous girl band called Morning Musume, which means morning daughter. And I don't know why I said that. That's kind of pointless to translate that. But okay, either way, in the 80s there was a big scandal because there were pictures of them smoking, and so a bunch of them had to quit, and yeah, quite strict images, which kind of like it's very weird because it's also kind of seedy, right? Like it's definitely like in some ways like soft sexual. Definitely Morning Musume had like a lot of songs which are kind of like raunchy, I would say. Sarah doesn't like when I say that word, but I mean that is what it is though. And but at the same time they have to perform a specific image which is much more, I guess, virginal in a way. I don't know. I mean, I guess it makes sense in some sense. Like a lot of the fans will maybe be men who are like obviously sexually attracted to the performers or romantically attracted, and they kind of think of them as these kind of vessels that they put their desires into. And if they had boyfriends, if they're like, if they had not, they then can't have too much like, personality really, or it might get difficult to do that. It's a little bit like how sometimes characters are a bit of an insert for you yourself. Going on tangents today, but yeah, like sometimes we're just like having a character that we can insert ourselves in. Like people say this about Bella in Twilight, that she has to be relatively uninteresting as a person themselves, because if she had too many defining traits, then it would be difficult to self-insert yourself. On the other hand, then you could argue, I mean, it's also just like people are snobbish and being rude about things girls like. But either way, I do think there's some sort of tendency in this idol culture that plays to that. And then the performers, on additionally, they generally don't make that much money unless they hit it very, very big, and even then, maybe not. I mean, kind of like was the Netflix thing. The performers not being paid was kind of similar here. Like people really want to have that job or be like, see it as quite glamorous, and then there's like a lot of exploitation. Like there's a lot of competition for the spots. A lot of girls would like to do it, and the in a Marx sense, the means of production, basically all of the IP, all of the music, all of the social media is actually owned by some company, or often like some guy. I think that's how it started with AKB40. I'm going to mess it up. 6? Okay, I don't know exactly. But there's a certain amount of this is like one of the first big idol groups, I think. Or recent super idol groups with a lot of performers in it, and I think it is 46. It might be I might be off by 1 or 2. It might be 47. But yeah, I think that was just started by one guy who basically then had like the control of the venues they performed in and all of the profits, and so obviously there's like a lot of dynamics there which are not in favor of the performers. And yeah, it's a very, very commercial thing in the sense that like they're also really pushing a lot of things outside of the music. But like, for example, even when selling albums, a lot of the times this is tied with some sort of other things like a raffle, and you buy one album, you get 5 tickets for, I don't know, chances of meeting your idol, chances of getting special seats at the concert. The concert itself also was like separated by they called it SS tier, S tier. SST is terrible actually. This is not what I meant. Who is it? Who just came? Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, not me Well, I'm actually also a little bit feeling a bit peckish, as they say, but I'm hungry in the game. I'm hungry in Minecraft. Oh, terrible. Okay, it's sort of working. Yeah, so they have to, and then they're also pushing like a lot of merchandise, like keychains, pins, armbands, things like that. Yeah, so possibly a little bit more standardized commercialism. It's similar to YouTubers if you think about it, like where everyone has like is sponsored in a specific way, like a lot of the same companies actually, and they will get merch and stuff, and it's just like a certain way of doing it, which everyone is familiar with. I kind of find this interesting in a lot of things. Gaming is also kind of similar, where like this is a type of subculture, and then people know exactly how it works, and not just like gaming in terms of like, I don't know, like something like World of Warcraft or MMORPGs, where they're like, oh, and then you have the chance of getting this gacha or like this lottery, and you win this, and they're like getting very familiar with the subculture's rules. But also like something like mobile games, where I remember this, like I knew some guy, not a friend, we weren't friendly, but he was really addicted to Clash of Clans or something like that. I think some similar thing like that, and he was like, he made a YouTube video years ago about like, there's farmers and there's gemmers, and I'm a farmer, like, which basically meant like he's not paying for the game. But then like later on, he like actually went to the gemmer camp, and it was a funny little sub saga in the greater orbit of acquaintances. But either way, people get really into it, and they have like a really they get like conditioned into how this world works, and get very aware, very well, I guess, into it, and be like, well, now I need the keychain, now I need to get all of the buttons, things like that. A friend of ours actually also, it's a fan of a K-pop band, and they also had like a kind of similar thing where you get like, you can buy, I forgot what it was, like a poster or whatever of the specific guy you're into. In that case, with K-pop, male K-pop bands, that's obviously what. Oh, a spider. Can I give the spider some? Yeah, you can have. I like you. You can have this. You can have this bread too. Okay. No, I guess not. Guess we won't be friends. That don't matter though. It don't matter none. Where are we? I feel like I was talking about something. I was in the middle of talking about something. Oh yeah, the K-pop thing. And she like bought for $100 a poster, because it's just like a desire that gets created, and like this. It's sort of okay. I'm gonna be like, I know this is a little bit rude again to people, but I feel like it's a substitute for social interaction. I mean, it is parasocial, right? Meaning that it's really a one-sided relationship that simulates two-sidedness. It simulates friendship, or even a relationship, and it makes you less lonely, I guess. And really, in some ways, it's sort of like listening to streamers too. Actually, I think people get like this parasocial relationship there too, but they just like to listen to the person. Or podcasts, good thing is where you're like, oh, it's just three friends talking, and I'm also sitting there. I'm not saying anything, but I could be there too. I actually kind of hate parasocial relationships. I know that's a reflection of my values and perhaps also my shortcomings, I don't know, but I just can't deal with them. They viscerally make me feel bad. And if I feel a parasocial relationship developing, for example, with YouTubers or something like that, I will cut that out. But yeah, it's kind of like, I think it's a bit of a problem of lack of valuable social relationships, of a very alienated society. But maybe I'm just like, a weirdo, and it's actually just fun and cool, and I shouldn't overthink it. Could be too. Let me see. But yeah, I mean, I think like this negative image is kind of, it's pretty common, right? Like, especially for the fans. I think like a lot of the fans of idol groups are kind of seen as like, yes, often like unwashed, unsocial guys who are like, have no manners, not very good grooming. They're kind of like awkward, and I would say like society does somewhat look down upon it. And I would say, like, I mean, there were like the most of the people that were at that concert seemed perfectly normal, I mean, there were some characters for sure. Although, I mean, you hear from idols too that there are some weirdos, especially like in these meet and greets that you get into afterwards. Yeah, and like, actually, that reminds me, I did watch The Perfect, which one? There's a Satoshi Kon anime that also deals with like an idol. I forgot the name. It's not. Is it Perfect Blue? No, it's not. Is it? I don't know. It's a really good anime. You should check that out. You should just. He didn't make that many animes before he died. You just like at least full feature films. You just should watch them all, and then you shouldn't be like me. You should instead remember what they're called. But yeah, there's an anime that has this that is about like an actress, or it's not Millennium Actress. It's about like more like an idol thing, and there's like some negative aspects of that as well. I don't know. My brain is so scrambled. I'm sorry. Unless you like it, unless you have a bit of a parasocial relationship and you love it, then you're welcome. Either way, yeah, that's a bunch of things like that. Oh, there was also a recent manga called, what was it called? I don't know, but it's kind of feminist. It's about like what I won't wear, like, good sayonara miniskato. Goodbye miniskirt, I think was what it's called. And there's also about a teenager who was an idol, who was attacked by a degenerate fan. And yeah, so like these meet and greets are kind of weird. But I think yeah, this has gone a bit long. Maybe we make this a two-parter. So if you watched towards the end of this, the second part of my idol concert experience will be in the next episode, which I might record right now or later, so we might get a completely different feel to it. And I took some notes, so we're golden in that sense. Also, everything seems a little bit slow to react, but that's okay. Well, yeah, you guys look forward to the next one, which will be the second half. We'll actually talk about the concert, talk about the meet and greet. Oh man, it will be so good. It'll be completely different to this one. It'll be excellent. So I see you in the next one, and you guys stay spooky, yeah? Bye-bye.